Welcome to another Saturday night at Taking It to the Nub. Sorry for the delay. Some little glitches we had between myself and my guest Storm. No biggie. We're gonna start this show right now. I would like to introduce my guest tonight, who's an amazing individual and what he's been doing especially for our military. He is the CEO of Cigars for Warriors. So let me introduce Storm Boen to Taking It to the Nub this Saturday. Bring in Storm right now. Storm, how are you?
Good, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. Sorry for all this wackiness. It's been one crazy day for me, but I am sitting here in an undisclosed location in Newport Richey. That's all I can say. How about yourself?
I can complain, but we don't have an hour in the show, so let's go.
Okay. Yeah. So that's good. So
I'm doing pretty good.
I would normally be smoking something right now, but I'm sitting in a hotel room, and I didn't want a chance losing any power outside, so I'm doing this from the inside. If I was, I'd be smoking this, which is what we will have a conversation about a little bit today. And I think you're smoking the same one. All right. So the Live to Serve from Hiram & Solomon and PDR Cigars and Cigars for Warriors. But we'll get into that in a moment. The first thing I'd like to get from you is your name really Storm? Did your parents name you Storm?
Yeah. My first name is Jay. So someone calls me at the house asking for Jay for trying to sell me something. So usually I just say, no, not here. My middle name's Storm, and pretty much what I've gone by. I think the only worst name growing up, though, would have been Susan.
A boy named Sue, right?
All right. So 2021, everybody, oh, that's a cool name. But back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s and 90s, especially the 80s, I got pretty good with contact sports, let's just say.
Mm-hmm. So you are the CEO for Cigars for Warriors. What does that entail? I mean, I know what a CEO for corporations do, for big corporations. What does it entail to be the CEO of a charity like Cigars for Warriors?
Well, like Cigars for Warriors, a little bit different based on a lot of charities. We have no paid employees, including myself. So sometimes I consider myself a wrangler because you're dealing with volunteers 100% of the time. And volunteers, you can imagine they got their own 40 to 60 hour week job. They got their own husband or wife and kids and dogs. And so as a CEO, my job is to, one, make sure I know all of our directorates. We have 12 of them within the charity. Each piece of it, what's going on at all times, and make sure I can get everybody communicating. I used to stay one-on-one with all our event coordinators, but over the years we've had about 2,000 of them. So it kind of gets a little hard doing that. And quite frankly, I was dropping the ball. So now we have a couple of guys. Their whole mission life is to call our event coordinators. How are you doing? Make sure they're doing good. We have a couple of regional coordinators. Their job is to take care of a group of event coordinators and stores. We've only been able to really get that going in the last 2 years, 3 years, 2.5 years. COVID, my years kind of get backed up with COVID. I always miss out a whole year there. But so again, I guess you would say is my job is make sure communication is constantly going throughout the whole charity, because you've got a lot of moving pieces, and you're trying to, the goal is to have pieces broken down as small as bite as possible. That way you have a greater chance for that volunteer to actually get it done, whether he or she has time or not, or excited about doing it, incentivize them, etc. You want to, it's called micro volunteerism. break it down as smallest element possible. Sometimes you got to keep it pretty macro. So that's that balancing job I have to do. And sometimes successful, sometimes not so successful. But at the end of the day, we've gotten 1.22 million cigars shipped out to our troops. I guess I'm sure you're going to ask the question. A lot of guys right now are asking me, what are you doing now that Afghanistan shut down? Same thing. There was only 2,300 troops to 3,000 troops at any given time. And we still have another 46,000 in just the Middle East alone that are deployed. We got Africa, we got South Korea, we got Bosnia, Kosovo, just tons and tons of countries were still in deployment. Not stationed, but deployment. We do not send to station troops like they're in Spain or England or Germany. They're probably drinking better beer than I am. But the guys are just living in let's call it what it is, a shithole. The cigar becomes something very valuable to them. It's the closest thing. I've heard the statement more and more times than I count for men and the women, that it brings normalcy to an unnormal environment.
Right.
And it allows for PTSD to not gain a momentum. It actually stops it at the momentum. So there's a lot of good things about it. Now, don't get me wrong. When we started this, we had no idea what we were doing. We just wanted to say thank you. It's all this was, and over the years, we had a lot of volunteers we have that were our recipients. They came back and they loved it so much. I got toilet paper and I got baby wipes a lot when I deployed, and I sure didn't come home looking to volunteer for a toilet paper company. So that's one of the things I knew as we were doing something right, is when our recipients were coming back asking to volunteer. In fact, our very first recipient ever is still a volunteer of ours, Captain Daniel Madugo, and he's down in Arizona right now.
Now, are you only supporting Operation Cigars for Warriors for those that are deployed, or are they also for on bases in state, in territories?
Currently, we have 3 mission statements. The third mission statement is not public. I'll just be very blunt about that. The first one is we prioritize war zones. Several places in Africa, they don't call war zones as far as our government calls it. We do, so we prioritize it, because you've been to some of those places, they're just bad. In fact, some of those places I've been to, I'd rather go back to Iraq again than back to those places. So we have our categorization. If the government calls it a war zone, we do too, but there's a few other places we prioritize. Second priority is our long-term deployments and floats. Floats being the Navy and the Marines. We've actually just it's funny, we all had a good joke about this the other day. Our executive committee, we were talking about Space Force.
Right here. Well, right here in Melbourne, Florida, where it used to be
right.
Air Force Base.
Well, it's weird. In 2021, people would text you from outside the country. And so I got a text the other day from a guy who is in Africa. I'm asking him for permission to use his name later on. But he's in Space Force. I didn't ever think about it. I mean, intellectually, I should have thought about it. But, mostly Space Force guys came from Air Force. Now they're picking up more and more from the Army and Navy and Marines, but especially the Army. But these guys were deployed to Africa, and they are Space Force. They're wearing the patch, everything. So I called our senior vice chair of trade board, because we had laughed about it. And I said, hey, guess what? We just shipped to our first Space Force. So we've now officially hit all 6 branches.
So when you ship out to say, so I see the pictures, I see, the ground forces. When I see those pictures, it always warms my heart to see people smoking good cigars that we sent over, that people donated. When you send it to people, to officers, and to enlisted in the Navy, are they allowed to smoke cigars on a ship?
Yeah. Some ships may have a no smoking policy, but as far as I know, is There's not been anybody denied not doing it. They don't do it in the quarters. They don't do it inside. They do it out on the deck. Now, it's all, considered deck time. It's all prearranged time, depending on what kind of ship they're on. And don't ask me, I'm not a Navy guy. I was on one for a week, and that's when I decided that any guy deployed more in a month, they're going to be considered a long deployment, because that week was a long week for me. I had no idea what was going on for a whole week. But
my dad used to tell me on his aircraft carrier in World War II, they had torpedoes on there too. So they would find the guy who ran the torpedoes and the guy who ran the kitchen. You got the pineapple juice and you got the torpedo juice, and you put it together and you had mixed drinks. I don't know if they still do that. I don't know if that's too smart, but that's
no. But you will have it. Our very first treasurer, which in fact his name was Ben Edmonson. He was one of the co-founders with me, and he actually passed away doing the job. He knew he had terminal cancer, but his only request to me was, don't treat me any different. Keep being an asshole to me, and let me work till I can do it. So he was in the Korean War in non-nuclear submarines, and he talked about stories about smoking in the submarine. And I'm thinking, good God, it's already a can, sardine in there. I can imagine smoking. But he also talked about stories of them coming to an island and coming to the top, and all the senior guys would get up there and smoke cigar, and they would do rotations out on top of the submarine. So I'm assuming that still happens. I've only
plus I'm sure the ventilation has gotten a lot better these days than they have been, in the old days. I mean,
right.
Technology is so far greater. When you
go ahead.
I was going to say, when you when you collect cigars, how many? I know I can and I've donated to the Ocala chapter. I would send a box up there or so every now and then. And if you've got drop boxes that ship different places, different shops around the country. How many shops do you work with around the country that you can drop cigars off at?
Our shops are like our volunteers. They move up and down. We're, very fortunate that they move up more than they move down. But I want to say last count, and I asked Paul this about 3 weeks ago, was around 450.
Okay.
Now, with trade shows, it dramatically goes up. Usually, we had our best trade show at PCA this year when we talked, and I think we did 55 new stores. And that means signing up. That means they actually did the paperwork. That means they took pictures and sent us their setup area. This is very important. A lot of guys may say, I want to be a donation center. I'm going to do all the benefits, but I'm not going to do any work. So we made it a little bit a lot harder for them to do that. And we teach them how to make money. I mean, we're very proud of the fact that you have to be a complete moron, and I have no problem saying that out loud, to not make a lot of money using us. We charge you nothing, and you just make money. The only thing that costs you anything is shipping those cigars back to us once a month. On top of that, though, you're going to get a lot of social media out of that, because your guy's going to post it. When we get it, we're going to post all over social media, and it's a tax write-off. But let's face it, Jimmy, me or you come in the shop, we're going to buy at least one cigar. That one cigar is literally the profit of that one cigar is what the cost of that cigar going out the door was. If it costs more than that, well, you should be happy, because that's a lot more cigars that you get sold for CFW. And every cigar that's brought in or bought is money in your pocket. So I try to teach you guys is that, you want your customers to bring in the cigars from home. Because no one walks in the cigar shop, dumps off cigars and leaves. It may double them off. They're going to turn around and refill their humidor. I don't know if you're like me. I can't keep my humidor halfway empty. You got to fill it some gun up.
Fill it back up. My wife keeps telling me to clear it out, give it all away. And I'm like, first of all, that's sacrilegious, number one. Number two, I do, and it keeps this. I keep putting cigars in it. So it's like a bottomless pit.
And so we want these guys. I get us. I say, hey, Storm, we We just want to support you. I was in the military or whatever. And my thing is, don't feel ashamed. I'm proud to be. I'm not I'm a capitalist, but I don't make money. But I'm proud that these stores can make money. Be proud to be a capitalist. Don't have shame about it.
Oh, no, absolutely. This is the thing. If you can go and start something and make money and find ways to make money, and a part of that becomes philanthropy, which is a good thing to help people. That's what we should be doing.
It's a win-win-win situation.
Win, just make it all, make everything flow, and you give comes back around. And,
one of our philosophies has also been to day one, we're very proud of, and hopefully whenever I leave, it continues, is that we want to be able to, for our supporters, them come out a little bit more ahead or more than we come out ahead. Because quite frankly, if you're coming out ahead, you're growing. Your company's growing. If your company's growing, we're going to get the donations naturally. And
right.
And for me, one of my kicks I get, besides meeting recipients, I like seeing a company like a manufacturer or a new cigar shop and saying 5 years down the road, hey, I had a small hand and where they're at right now. And a lot of my guys feel the same way. To answer your question, we have a lot of donation centers. And some people do just like you do. They'll send it to our Ocala distribution point, or we have one in New Jersey. Typically, we have the cigar shops sent to Florida, and we have special events and festivals all go to New Jersey. This way, people don't get confused. The shops don't try to see two addresses. As well as I do, the cigar community, got to keep it simple. So one address for the shop owner, and then for everybody else, we just send to Peter down there. You met Peter down in New Jersey.
And as we go on through the show, just want to remind people, if you're not familiar with this, so this is the Cigars For Warriors site. It's basically, you go to cigarsforwarriors.org, and there are places here where you can donate. You can donate funds. You can donate cigars. They've got a shop. They have drop-off locations here. So if you want to look for those, you can just click on the drop-off locations. And this is going to pull up based on your zip code and a radius. It'll tell you where you can drop off cigars for the mission. So if you can get involved, so a lot of things on here on how you want to check it out. They do such a great job in getting and making our troops feel at home as best as possible and having that connection back to home through the leaf. And I really appreciate the work that they do.
You can see right there all the donation centers in that last one.
That map is huge all over. Like I said, 400.
And the guys, when you're looking at it, please be patient with it. Our website it's a new one, so we're still doing all the data crunching, getting all the people put in and all the shots put in there and stuff like that. But it is a pretty new one. For us, it's our 7th new website. Again, we deal with volunteers, so it usually takes about a year for a new website. So, a normal webmaster builds you one in 45 days, So you can do the math. It pretty much happens with everything. What would take a normal person a week to do a project would take, as a volunteer, 3 to 6 months. And that was the hardest lesson I had to learn, is that patience. I literally went from, I was still in the military on injury status when we created this charity. So I went from a first sergeant mentality to running volunteers and saying, pretty please. So that was an interesting adjustment. And my second senior vice chair was a Marine. So I actually had to teach him to, calm down. We have volunteers, we're not paramilitary by any means.
Let me take a very short break here to give a shout out to the sponsors on taking it to Nub for tonight. And when we come back, what I want to do is I want to get into your synergy program, what this is about, and what you're coming out with Caldwell. So we'll get into that discussion in just a moment. So let me quickly give a shout out to the sponsors tonight. So tonight's show is brought to you by Platinum Nova Cigars. Platinum Nova is a family-owned and operated premium cigar company where only the highest vintage tobacco and the most skilled hand workmanship go into the making of each Platinum Nova cigar. This results in a timeless blend of art and craftsmanship. The Nova brand and the family's work are a tribute and an honor to their grandfather to always remember him and his infinite passion for the finest of cigars. Their love for cigars started with their grandfather, a dedicated master blender and entrepreneur in the cigar industry. So the next time you're looking for an exquisite smoking experience, pick up a Platinum Nova. You can check them out at Platinum Nova Cigars at www.novacigar.com and on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And don't forget, as long as these are running on Taking It to the Nub, if you go to their site and put in the code Boston Jimmie 15, that's Boston Jimmie with an IE and the number 15, you'll get 15% off any order you place with them. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends at Tarazona Cigars. Tarazona Cigars, owned by Eddie Tarazona, is not just about passion. Eddie is passion. Eddie does it with passion. He's very passionate about the cigars that he makes. And he wants to tell you that their premium long leaf handmade cigars are each rolled to the highest quality by masterful rollers. They take the pride in the quality and the craftsmanship of every cigar that goes into every box of Tarazona and Carabello cigars. The ultimate goal for Tarazona Cigars is for you to enjoy a fine cigar with good friends, for all your momentous occasions, or just kick back and enjoy a perfect day. You can check out Tarazona Cigars at www.tarazonacigars.com, and they're also on Facebook and Instagram. We also like to thank our friends at La Jolla del Chan. La Jolla del Chan is a dream come true for husband and wife, Gabby El Chan and Liz. They want all hands that work the tobacco leaf in their home country of Puerto Rico to have the same opportunity to expose their products. They call it La Jolla del Chan because they cultivate part of the product, and at some point, they want to supply the world with their native tobacco leaf. The pride that Gabby and Liz feel is the same pride of all those who work the tobacco leaf in Puerto Rico, and for this, they deserve a portal that represents them. Thank you for supporting their country, they say. They will resist. Soma, I can never pronounce that last one on the hashtag, I'm sorry. But follow them at lajolladelchan.com and at El Chan Cigars on Instagram and Facebook. And lastly, as we are in the month of October, we also thank Cigar Clowns for this month's sponsorship, special sponsorship. We'll be given special prizes of Cigar Clowns' newest ABV in our Taken to the Nub Wheel of Wonderfulness on Saturdays. Cigar Clowns, you can check them out on Facebook. If you haven't checked out Cigar Clowns, they're out there searching for the perfect cigar experience. They search around in aging rooms and factories around the world to find that perfect smoke. They don't get a lot of them, and when they get them, they sell out. So check them out at Cigar Clowns on Facebook, and maybe you will have an exquisite experience. I'd like to thank our sponsors because without them, the show is always a little harder to do. Let's come back to Storm. All right. So let's talk about the Synergy program. When I talked to you at TPE, this is what was being showcased, which is the Live to Serve, which is a collaboration between Hiram and Solomon, PDR, owned by Abe Flores, and Cigars for Warriors. It's a program that you're expanding and extending to other manufacturers on a kind of a cyclical basis, as I understood. And I think you mentioned that Caldwell was next in line. So why don't you give us a little discussion about what the Synergy program is and how you came up with this and how do you pick collaborative partners in this?
Well, pretty proud of it. Something I came up with a couple of years ago. Quite frankly, we weren't ready then. Didn't really think we would be able to ever get it done because the premises of it is I want a company to make a showcase product, one of the best top in the line. I want them to sell it for us, and I want them to turn around and give me all their profits, 100% of their profits. I mean, who wouldn't go for that, right? So never a million years thought I'd ever be able to do it. Well, a couple of companies right off the bat, about 2 years ago, we were starting to talk about, they wanted to figure out how to work with us. With the FDA, there's been issues, and we've learned a lot of loopholes, but other companies really wanted to do something bigger. One of them was Hiram & Solomon, and Eddie basically is all about charity. I mean, he started the Hiram & Solomon project as a project to give back to charities within the Freemason community. And we are the first one outside of that. Very proud of it. He really got excited. He actually is the one that blended it himself. It wasn't one of his other blenders. It was him. He had sent me 4 cigars, and me and a couple of guys, Robert Allen, Trey Boen, we tried it. And we chose this one. It's not one that's right in your face. It's one that's really open to a lot of people. It's not a full-bodied. It's medium to full-bodied. It's not real complicated, but it's just enough. And I was thinking, I will let my wife try it out, and she actually liked it. And she's more a sweet Jane kind of gal. She likes the sweeter stuff. So we were very happy with it. I mean, we all enjoyed it. I see myself either smoking in the morning or the evening, whenever. And normally I'm not we've had other cigar companies, sell us or make cigars for us. And I'll be, frank, not all of them were my favorite. But I've probably gone through almost 3 boxes of these so far. So that was the first coming. And basically, it's just as I said, they made this beautiful product. They're selling it to our donation centers. So we're giving back a way to incentivize and give back to our donation centers. So it's kind of like the TAA program, except it doesn't cost you a lot of money. It's a way that shops who don't have Hiram & Solomon to get a look at it without being stuck with contracts or major, you have to do this and this to get it. A lot of companies you have to buy a minimum amount of 15, 16 boxes, or you have to have 27 faces, or you have to spend $75,000 a year to get a certain special edition cigar. With this, we wanted to make the shops that we work with happy with the manufacturer. So the only thing we require is a minimum of 2 boxes per order, which is insane. No one does that. You don't have to contract with them. And then that's for the 20 counts. For any company we work with, 10 count, of course, it's 4 boxes.
But you really only right now on this particular one, the live to serve. Okay. I believe there was 500 boxes made of these.
There was 500 sold out by PCA, and Eddie had foresight and asked me permission. And I said, go for it. He had already made another 500. And when we hit 450, he said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get them banded and boxed. So we are down to about 150 boxes left. They're very limited. You have to ask your shop, hey, can you get them for me? If the shops don't know about it. Because, PCA wasn't a lot of people this year. There was a lot of good shops, but, not everybody knows about the program. It's getting more and more out there. And as you said, the second one is with Robert Caldwell. He was, I would say half an hour behind Eddie saying, hey, we want to do this for charity. And I couldn't believe that the luck of having this idea I had years ago that everybody laughed at me about. I literally have 2 guys already wanted to do it. And it took 2 years of doing some, negotiating and figuring out and what we really wanted to do. And then with, right now, COVID is really great for manufacturers. It's the golden age of cigars, times 2 from from the 90s. And so the only problem right now is tobacco issues. Well, Caldwell, we had, so that meant we went from July. Caldwell actually got released on September 1st. And they're released, they're selling pretty good. And that's
now what is the Caldwell cigar now? What is the
he wanted to do originally his Lost and Found series, but instead he asked me one day, instead of doing that, my highest profit selling line is the mofo line. I want to make a little bit special blend. It's a lot more complicated, as he put it. In fact, he said you have to, the intellectual taste of it's what he described it as. I don't have a great profile, so I don't know what intellectual taste is, but it was very neat.
Sounds like Robert.
Yeah. And, so it's a special mofo blend, a little bit different shape than the normal Toro, but that's the cigar. So he wanted to use his best selling and make it even better, to showcase it, not only for us, but them. And I write for Tobacco Business and a couple other magazines, and I did an interview with him about it. And one of the biggest things I got about the interview was, he goes, I want this project to outlive me. When I sell this company, I want part of that sale to be that this cigar is perpetual, that it stays in the market and money comes to you guys. I want to see something outlast me. I thought that was pretty neat. I hadn't heard that from anybody ever. Robert's an interesting guy if you've ever visited with him. He's like me, but with the charity, I had to be a lot nicer. He could be normal personality, just talk shit to everybody. So if you get offended real easy, you might not be around Robert a lot, but I enjoy talking trash. I'm sure you, for being from Boston, you're used to it.
And New York, Boston, man, we get it. Now is his at the same price point as the Live to Serve?
The Live to Serve is typically $10 a stick, but some shops are selling at $12. And the reason that is because the offset price, normally people would sell it at MSRP at $12. But we'd ask specifically that they sell it at $10, hoping they could have higher sales and get more money back to the charity. That was Eddie's idea. But at the end of the day, the shop is their choice of what they want as MSRP. Some go at 12, some go at 10. I have to be honest, the ones that sell at 10 are selling out like crazy. The ones at 12, it's hit and miss. Roberts, I think, is around 11 on average in MSRP. It is a phenomenal cigar. I'm not just saying, but I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it that much because I've had other mofos that they're great cigars, and some of them weren't my style. And this one was just phenomenal. And don't get me wrong, I don't have that palate. If you see some of these great reviews, taste of hint of a chocolate I made up from a cow out of Connecticut that ate a turd in 1967. I can't do that. To me, they're great or they're not. So this is a great cigar. He was right. It is very complicated. If you like a flavor that moves around a lot on you, this is a stick. I smoked two of them, and both sticks the flavors were different to me. Not meaning that they were different cigars or different flavored cigars, that the combination was just like that. Anyway, so I think everybody should try it. We're going to do 10 counts on those, so it's easy price purchase. That was the other thing he wanted to do, is he wanted everybody to have an opportunity to get it. He didn't want to outsell it. He said, normally, if I'd have been selling this, I'd done it $15 a stick. So
doing a 10-count bundle, or is you doing a cool 10-count box?
10-count box. Anyway, so yeah, it was a little bit more expensive than we originally thought.
Now, have all the shops that have been following this program picked those up, or again, they're varying by shop?
Well, he's calling he has a list of our shops, and so he's calling them, and he's calling the ones that are already on his list. And then my people are calling the shop saying, let them know, hey, call those cigars out. Again, we're doing volunteers, so what may take me and you one day to call 25 shops, it may take a month to get 25 shops called, or a week or so. So we're probably about halfway through calling all our shops, letting them know about the new cigar coming out. Or that it's already out, excuse me. Robert's saying it is selling really, really good, which that's a good thing. So those two are our first two. We had 6 that signed up on TPE. When we went to TPE, I think I told you, I said, I'm going to try to get one more. We'll have 3.
And talking about another special one that I love.
Yeah. And I only wanted 6. I thought every 2 months would be a good number. You know, I don't want it to overwhelm our supporters or our shops. You know, if you have 15, you know, boxes every year, your shops are not going to want to carry 15 extra cases. Your supporters who want to support you and chase them, after 6, they're going to be like, I can't afford to buy it, because if you're chasing it, you're going to buy at least 2 boxes, one to smoke and one to hide away somewhere. And so that was one of the things I saw with TA was their biggest mistake, is that it's so many of them out there. You know, other great companies. Don't get me wrong, I love VIA, and I used to chase VIA like crazy, but I couldn't keep up with them at all. So that was one of the things we did. My thought process was, don't get greedy.
No.
So we left that TP with all 6 companies in mind. Now, I had a guess that we are probably going to lose 1 or 2 of them during all the process work. We've only lost 1. Now, the dates have been moved around. Cavalier was supposed to come out on Veterans Day. The tobacco issues, they got hit hard with it. They got the boxes made. They got the bands made. But they can't, the cigar that he really wants to showcase, he didn't. He had some other ones he could have done, but the way he said it, it really hit me. He said, instead of putting out something that's moderate in my style, I want my showcase to come out. And I want you guys to benefit from that. And I want to benefit from being in new stores. So we put that date off. We're still working on what that date's going to be. But as of right now, the next one will be January 1st. I think this is one that you're looking forward to, is Oscar Valderas, the guy that made the Leaf by Oscar, is doing a CFW by Oscar cigar.
Nice.
It's a phenomenal stick. We've already picked
Obviously, Honduran. There's a lot of Honduran in this one.
Yeah. Oscar is one of those great guys. He's always supported CFW when, before he was even had his own company. Just a great guy. He also has coffee. He's always donated to us. A lot of people don't know we have coffee.
Yeah, I was about to get to that. So you're stealing my question. All right, let's go right into that. I love it. And thank you, Oscar, for supporting all of this. So the other thing you were talking to me about at TPE that you're really excited about was something you called Integrity Coffee, okay? Which is designed for the warfighter.
So we have coffee made by Janus Coffee Company. It's some guys that are big cigar smokers. They have our own company in Wyoming. It's a community work with children, and they roast beautiful coffees as something to relax them, the brothers. And these gentlemen I've met them over the years, and they came to me about this project, and I told them about synergy, thinking, okay, we got to figure it out, some of these guys. So with the first 2 things we did, we shipped about 12 different varieties to my board of directors. I drink coffee, but I have no idea what I'm tasting. I've always been a Diet Coke guy. Doesn't look like it, but I drink Diet Coke over coffee. But
You and my wife would get along great. I call it Diet Death.
Well, we've been shipping coffee since day one. It's never been regular, which is one of my biggest goals, to have 100% coffee in all the boxes. So the deal we made was we would get half of the profits, and then he would take and send a whole nother bag of the same blend back to us. And if you bought it, Boston Jimmie, he put on the back of that bag, handwrite, Boston Jimmie donated this bag of coffee. And it would go to our troops. Same bag, same blend. So I'm not going to get like a secondary rated coffee. You're going to get the same one. The same one you bought goes to the troops. So you go to our website, we have those 2. We have honor and loyalty. And I've named these off after Army core values. Well, we decided to make one for the Synergy program, for the donation centers only, the integrity, a little bit higher bean, meaning the value of it, the cost of it, the taste of it, everything. It's crazy. I'm learning more about coffee than I thought I'd ever know. These guys, we brought it to PCA and TPE. People had it. We can't have them come back over and over all week long. So the shops basically could buy integrity. We took a lot smaller cut from the cash side of it, the deal, but so the donation centers can make bigger margins. It's still not going to be the normal keystone margins, but it is still pretty nice. But more importantly, say a shop buys 60 bags, CFW gets 60 bags to send to our troops. Well, at PCA, we had 4 shops ordered 60 bags apiece, and if you buy 60 or more, we redesign it, the bag and the logos and all of it, to be in collaboration with the shop, with Janice and CFW. So basically, they get their own kind of coffee. Very excited about that program. It's going great. We've been around 2,000 pounds shipped out for the last 10 years, and it's almost 3,000 now, and that's been in 6 months, 8 months. So very excited about that. Again, it's integrity. One of the things I like saying, asking the shop, do you have any integrity in your shop? Nice play on words.
Like it. Excellent. Now, one thing we talked about at DPE, and I'm not sure, and I wasn't aware of it until we had the conversation. And I think that, I don't know if a lot of people know this. So, you raise money, you collect cigars, you help the troops, but you also have JROTC scholarships that you guys do or have done.
We've done it. We do, yeah. We
Scholarship program, and I know you were saying that part of it has slowed a little, and then you're picking it back up. So,
well, we have Cats Festival, which is a basic name. It's a company I built it as an LLC to protect the charity. So we have a big festival once a year, Cigar and Beer Festival. Texas was in San Antonio for 5 years. The last 2 was in Granbury. Of course, the COVID, we've had to cancel the last 2. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year. We raise a crazy amount of cigars and cash. It's typically around 600-700 people. Not huge numbers like you see like a CI, but they come to give. And I like calling it a fundraiser. You don't realize you're at a fundraiser because you're just having a lot of fun. The social aspect of it's pretty crazy. But at that, we always have these beautiful military ceremonies that a lot of guys and gals have never seen. Some guys in the military have never even seen. And, for example, like the POWMIA ceremony is just beautiful. We have the folding of the flag, 13 folds, I believe. We have either a preacher or a preacher doing that ceremony. Typically do about 5, but they're always with the cadets that help us with part of it. In San Antonio, we had cadets that would do the rifle drill. They would throw the rifles to each other, throw them in the air. Phenomenal deal. With Granbury, these guys do some pretty crazy marching, and they'll, really do the ceremony beautiful. So we started that. Ben Edmonson being, our fallen hero, one of 22 now. We decided to call the Ben Edmonson Scholarship, and whatever we have that we think we can get away with based on our average cost of the year, we break it down to 5 scholarships for JROTC. Our first year was only about $200 a person. That's all we can afford. The last year was about $300. It's not a huge scholarship, but it's something we're working on. And then we've done it 3 years now. Last year we didn't do it because of COVID, but there's called the FRG in the military, Special Reserves and National Guard, Family Readiness Groups. And their job is to support the troops while they're deployed, support the families, do stuff like have a Christmas party at the end of the year. Funny as it sounds, like Christmas party is a huge motivation, a motivator, incentive. It keeps people engaged in the units. They don't do it, it's a real morale killer. We've had a couple units that they didn't have an FRG program. If they didn't do anything, no money to do a Christmas party. So we've donated to that. I've helped to pull a lot of strings, tied it, getting multiple donations to support these units. We've done that three units now. It's not something we broadcast because we don't want 50 units calling us, but we try to do our best. These are little things we like to do because at the end of the day, anything to help our military is what we're about. People think I'm insane because at the Cats Festival, it's our fundraiser, but we'll allow any real military charity to come in, set up a booth for free, and let them fundraise at their booth during our fundraiser. In the day, it's taking care of our military and their families.
Right.
There's only a couple of military charities that won't allow in there. Other than that, as long as they're registered NPO or 501c3, and have we do backgrounds on them, but we've only turned away 2 ever, and those will be the same ones ever, unless they get a whole new board of directors and change their ways. But right now, we're very open about that. It's some pretty cool charities, Hunts for Heroes and stuff like that.
Now, the other thing that we were talking about is you also have expanded some of your swag that's out there, and you were I think you mentioned to me that you were working collaborating with Jesse Flores.
Right.
Collaboration still going on?
Yeah, we're running a couple of Jesse's right now slowing down a little bit because of his daughter's health.
Oh yeah, it's such a sad situation with Jesse. And if anybody,
but buddies, we've worked with him
here for a second. If anybody wants to donate money to Jesse's stuff, get out there. You can see the site. You can go to Jesse's page. There is methods and means to help him out, to take care of his daughter, who is just a beautiful young woman, but is in terrible, serious need of medical assistance. So this cigar community has been tremendous, continued being tremendous, because that's what we do. But I'm sorry, it just doesn't.
You go to the Janice Coffee website, and he has a Janice Coffee as well. So where our coffee is, Jesse has a beautiful coffee there as well, and he'll support Jesse too. But yeah, he's worked with us. I've known him 13 years now.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic.
Great guy. So we did a collaboration T-shirt. We did a company in Texas decided to donate 100 shirts printed with anything we wanted to get us back on our feet because of COVID. And so they donated, and Jesse did all the artwork, and we sold out before they even really went on the website.
Wow.
We have some really nice new buttons because everybody's like, your swag's old, get some new shit. So we got some nice new buttons that Jesse did.
Did he do like a cool Jesse? They did add a Jesse.
Yeah.
No. Does he have like a street art kind of button for this now?
Yeah, it's a giant bomb or an airplane, and it has CFWs written in there. But basically, you see the whole package underneath that airplane. You see a bunch of bomb pins. The bombs look like graffiti artwork on them, and so you can buy those separately. Most people buy them as a package. So basically, we call bombing people with cigars. We're bombing the troops now with cigars and care packages.
That's terrific.
So new decals with Jesse's artwork. We're also working with David Roman. I just forgot the name.
David Roman from Mickey from Mick and Morty, right?
Yes, Mick and Morty, which is I know it. I've seen it a couple of times, but some people are fanatics. And for example, we did Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival, and we started promoting that we were going to have 2 posters there for raffle. We probably talked to 25 people, so the only reason they came to the damn festival was so they could get in a raffle for this poster. They didn't want anything else. Had one guy won something, a couple boxes of cigars, turned around and re-donated, wanted to win that damn poster. And what we did, and what David did, he made a poster for us. Then he asked us to go during PCA and get 12, 15 different of the manufacturer owners to sign it. And so he kept one of them for himself because he's a big cigar fanatic as well. And he gave us the rest. And everywhere we brought them now, they've been a huge hit. Hoping to work with him on an individual project again. That was the guys from PCA that introduced me to David. And he's been really, really good to us. With that synergy project, something we didn't talk about, we do things that are not coffee or cigars. And they're coming out, hopefully. It's an area that I'm not real familiar with, but I'm learning a lot. CBD world. With PCA, it's opened the door to a different world to us as well. So we have one is a CBD. It's actually Robert Caldwell's sister has her own CBD company. And then another big company called Native, they're making a CBG, which is basically all CBD has about 3% THC, and this has 0. So the troops, I think, might be able to even use it.
Yeah, the
Now,
CBG, CBV. I know that there's a number of companies starting to consider doing that. I know that Patrick Potter is looking has something coming out around CBG, CBV, which is completely different than CBDs.
and it's a
By
little
the
bit more
way,
expensive. Go ahead.
so I do have a picture. I forgot I took this picture as part of what I would write on the article. So we were just talking about the Jesse artwork stickers. So let's just pop that up there. So look at that. That is badass. I mean, just flat out badass. All right. This is, Jesse Flores. You got the flying bomb with the flag, CFW over here. That is very, very cool. And these are still for sale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have plenty of those. When we've sold out of them a couple of times, we keep reordering, which is nice.
Yeah, that's just badass. Let me take a quick. I'm going to take a quick detour again. I'm going to do a fast what's new in news and reviews on Stogie Press this past week. And when we come back, I want to go through some short lightning rounds with you. We'll keep the answers short. I'd like to get your views on a few things, and then we'll close our show out. We're having a great time. This is great, Storm. Thank you very much.
I enjoy it a lot.
So this past week on Stogie Press, let's start with some reviews. All right, I'm gonna get it right off the top right now. Don't call me too crazy, but yes, this Casa Cuevas Patrimonio Robusto Gordo, that's not a typo. I rate this a 99. Now, you may think otherwise, because why can you come up with such a high number, Jim? You're crazy. Well, because this cigar is incredibly flavorful. It is trouble-free. It is error-free. Okay? It has one of the things I look for in a cigar, a pristine burn. It's got the long ash. It only dropped once in the whole journey. All right. It's got pleasant, balanced flavors, aromas coming through. And this is a cigar that, if you look at it's a Honduran Corojo with an Ecuadorian Habano, and then Peru, Nicaragua, and Dominican Republic fillers. This cigar starts hard on pepper, and that pepper continues through this cigar. Some cigars, that pepper fades and kind of goes. It doesn't really actually completely fade. It kind of like it's there, but it's never heavy as you get into it, but you know it's there. You know what I mean? It's not one of these cigars that like is burning your palate out. And as it burns through, it's absolutely beautiful. It's named the Patrimonio because they're giving tribute to Lewis's father. Comes in 3 different vitolas between 10 and 1150, 1050 and 1150. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful band, beautiful roll on this. I mean, I can go on and on and on. The only thing I could say is, if you like full strength, full body, full pepper cigars, this is for you. If you like full body, full flavor, this is your cigar. If you like a perfect burning cigar, this is your cigar. You got to try this cigar. And then come back and tell me I'm crazy, because I'm not. I know. So that's my take on that. I just am all about this. So I love that cigar. They did an amazing job with that. Another one we looked at, this is a company I just came, actually, I'm over here in the west coast of Florida right now. This company sent me some samples about a month and a half ago. So company called Serafin de Cuba Cigars. They're located in Tarpon Springs over here. And this cigar, this is an old Tampa band, right? So what this company is, fourth generation company. The gentleman who owns it, Arnaldo, his father was last owner, passed away. He's taken over the little quaint little shop. We'll be coming out with a review on the shop this week because I was over there visiting them today. But they're rebranding all of these old Tampa brands. They're buying they're getting all the old trademarks, and they're just coming out with all of these cool things. But this cigar it's a very nice cigar. This company's been around since 1925. All right. They're like fourth generation cigar men. This cigar right here, it's very nice. Comes through a little wave off the burn, kind of decent burn cone. Comes down, got a little off burn down here. Got a little harsh in the front end at the beginning, but then it settled into some natural tobacco sweetness and then worked its way through at a very nice profile. And I'll tell you, when I was sitting down with these folks that were over there, the patrons of this shop, they actually were telling me, Jimmy, that I was so spot on. They said, you nailed what that's all about. We read your review. We thought we were talking about it. And I was like, I appreciate that. That's an amazing compliment to me. And I kind of closed my site out here. Let me go back again. Kind of lost myself here. Here we go. And the last one we did, obviously, is what we're talking about tonight, was the Live to Serve. We gave this one a 94 rating. This is a really nice cigar. Eddie did a really good job. I remember smoking it at the show, and I put it away. So it's been laying in my humidor for a while. I had two of them. This one just, the flavor notes on this, just it's a nicely complex cigar that you can enjoy, but it's a medium strength, like you were saying, Storm. So it's got these flavors, but it's not kicking in the head with nicotine. So you can really get to enjoy this cigar. Mexican San Andreas with Mexican binder, which, by the way, that alone is a shocking mix. You rarely see Mexican, right? Because they're heavy leaves, right? And sometimes you don't get the burn quality that you want. But Eddie and Abe really made this come together. This is an absolutely beautiful ash, little bit of a little off burn, nothing major coming through. It kind of refound itself. Black pepper shot on the nasals right off the front. Cinnamon notes come in. The chocolate that came in on this, the background, it was just this background of chocolate nuances that were just making my palate very calm and relaxed. Sweet butter notes, fruit, maple syrup aromas. Just, this is a very, very fine cigar. So I'm glad these are sold. I might have to go find the shop and buy myself some more. As far as news goes, real quick, I'm not going to get into all the details, but Drew Estate's continuing throwing out a lot of news on the cycle right now. They just released their Liga Privada Unico UF4 at Casa Monte Cristo. So you can check that out. They're going to be doing that party on October 29th is the release of this. They also unleashed the Undercrown 10 Factory Floor Edition, which is cool. So if you like the Undercrown 10, which is a really phenomenal cigar for 2021, this is the Factory Floor Edition, the one that the Factory Floor votes on and puts out. So that's going to be really good, showing up in the Drew Diplomat retailers throughout the country. Hoya de Nicaragua is coming out with their 200. It's going to be shipping to stores now, so you want to get your hands on that if you're into all of the Hoya de Nicaragua products. My friends over at Maya Selva, I absolutely adore Maya. She's such a great woman and one of the best in the industry for what she does. They're coming out with their latest Chinese New Year cigar. So this is obviously Año de Tigre, or the Year of the Tiger. So those will be hitting the shelves soon. I'm looking forward to that. And Fratello also came out with the announcement of their Harlequin Perfecto. That'll be showing up at the Old Virginia Tobacco Store at the 50th anniversary of that. And Drew Estate also unveiled Freestyle Live. So if you've not been following Drew Estate's giving a lot of shit away. I mean, just they were supposed to have a big party. They couldn't have their big party. They didn't go to TP. They didn't go to PCA. They have all this stuff. They're giving things away, but not just giving away normal swag, right? They're giving away a truck. They gave away a Harley Fat Boy last week. They're giving away a Bitcoin in a couple of months. All right. So yeah, they're just giving stuff away. Check out Drew Estate, their Freestyle Live events to get in on that. All the info is in the article. And I think that's it. Yeah, because that catches up to last week. So let's come back to Storm. And let's talk
one of the things you're bringing up is Drew Estate's giving away. They also donating to us this year, like
yes,
they did last year, another $50,000.
A big check they wrote to you guys, you know.
So that's a huge thing with us not being able to do any really major events or festivals. I mean, I've only done one major festival all year. That's where we make a lot of our money. And so, as you can imagine, monetary, we've been getting our teeth kicked in. Cigar wise, we actually been doing pretty decent.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. And thank you for reminding me of that, because that's who Drew Estate is. That's who Jonathan Drew is. He's out there. He wants to help people, and he's doing a great job of it.
I call him one of our original co-founders, just because he was intimately involved when we were beginning the charity. He wanted to see all my bylaws. He wanted to meet all the board of directors. He wanted to see our associations, all of it. And then he actually said, "Hey, you might want to correct some of this stuff." Him going to law school, and people always think of him as a hip hop guy, but people don't realize he actually has a law degree.
Yeah,
and,
he went. What was it, up in upstate New York? He went to State University of New York, I think it was, for law school.
Don't get me lying.
Super smart guy, and he's a guy that I'll just say that people that know him, that know me, will describe Jonathan as he has various personalities depending upon what he's doing, and he very carefully selects those personalities. He's got his staunch business personality in an office environment where he's very corporate about what he's going to do, how things work, right? How he demands. He's got his personality that he's on the scene with, right? That you see him out there doing events and stuff. He's got, like I said, that whole hip hop and thing. He's the art collector guy. He's got all these different. He's a dynamic individual, and he's a loving person. He really likes to help people across the board. I mean, look what he just did for Louis and Robert with their wine festival that they had, right? They had all this shit stolen, okay? And Jonathan just got right in there and replaced all of that stuff. It's like, didn't even ask questions. Here, go, make it happen. So that's who he is, and I love that. So let me ask you a quick question.
I can probably talk for hours with that. But
oh God, I can go on forever.
Well, I mean, without him, we would not be where we're at remotely. I'm a firm believer in that. I mean, him allowing me to go to IPCPR in 2012. He thought I was out of my mind. He thought it's the dumbest idea in history, but I asked him to trust me, and he did, and it put us 10 years ahead of the game just for us being in his booth. Like I said, he's been behind us. He took all of his charities, stopped them all, and just put it all behind CFW, which was pretty mind-blowing if you think about it. Good man. He's always, make sure I'm okay. He goes way beyond, call of just being a business guy. So, I'll leave it.
Let me ask you this question, okay? I have some interesting questions for you, but this is the first one. Of all the work you've done in Cigars for Warriors and donating to the troops, and you get all these beautiful pictures, videos, and everything, what is one of your most heartwarming videos or letters you got from somebody or a group that receives cigars from Cigars for Warriors? That's a tough one. I'll let you think about that for a second.
I mean, you gotta imagine, I never in a million years thought I'd get more than thank you, if that. And some of the stuff face to face. I'll tell you two stories and we'll leave it at that. First one, it was live. It happened at Cigar Festival 2000, I want to say 14. And actually, I gained like 12 volunteers during this. And it was because of two different incidents. One, 4 gentlemen walked up and they were all Purple Heart recipients. They started smoking cigars while they were in Afghanistan. They didn't belong to the same unit, but they became close friends because of the packages we were sending. They heard that we were going to be at Cigar Fest. They all lived in different parts of the country and they came home. They decided to all fly and drive to Cigar Fest, hang out together, and then come see us, say thank you. Sadly, one of them actually had a heart attack on the way up there and passed away. So the other 4 decided to continue on. And I can't tell you the tears are flowing, and they want to do a Purple Heart photo with me, and then it was just pretty rough. But the things they were saying, which really touched me, and shortly, some of the stuff I don't really want to talk about, but it was just very emotional. And I'm a very hard person to get emotional about. And not even 20 minutes later, another gentleman walked up. He was first sergeant, and he knew I was a first sergeant. I don't know how, but he brought me an old 50s first sergeant baton. And that was pretty cool. I heard about them, but I never got to have one, never saw one. And he gave it to me. That really was nice. He said, I don't want to seem like a wacko, and I wasn't. And I think you were in the same deployment I was. He goes, during 2003, we deployed, and it's rough. And then the cigars got me through a lot of things. And then I stopped smoking cigars. And in 2013, I was in Afghanistan again, and y'all sent me a package. But one of the things I don't like saying out loud, but it's true, is for whatever reason, the stressors, things at home, whatever, I was ready to eat lead that day. And the package showed up. I can't tell you why, but the package, for whatever reason, put a smile on my face, and I didn't do it. I don't write these stories just because you write it doesn't sound realistic or sounds too personal. So, but I've actually seen these guys since, and they've actually said I can say it. I don't bring it up a lot, but it was very emotional. And because of this, people were listening to all this. Because I don't know if you've ever been to CI Fest. We're upstairs, and it's a madhouse. And, they're doing this. We actually got 12 new volunteers, and all 12 of them were still volunteers for us. They blew them away. They wanted to be part of it. So that was something very, to this day, it touches me thinking about it. Second one was a little bit funnier, is from a mom. It starts out, it's a letter that says, Dear CFW, I hate all things tobacco. I think anybody using tobacco are morons, idiots, and I just despise it. But I want to say thank you for sending my son a CFW package. He called me 3 different times. All 3 times he talks about this package. It's meant the world to him. He was really down. I love CFW because of this. Despite my personal beliefs, I believe in your charity organization. Here's a check for $500. So
Wow.
this person who despised tobacco still believed in our mission.
Wow.
And that was
beautiful.
That was one of the neatest things that's happened, in my opinion. I'm sure there's a lot of other guys that tell you whole different stories, but for having, I've been around the anti-tobacco folks. I've been yelled at and cussed at, by the anti-tobacco folks, and have one of them turn around and donate, not a small amount of money, and say thank you. That was cool. So I've kept that letter. I actually haven't laminated. It's one of the few that I personally have kept. The rest of them go in our, our business files, et cetera. But that one, I told the board, I said, I'm gonna keep this. I don't like it, sorry.
Wow.
But
That's absolutely beautiful. Second question. All right, that was supposed to be an easy question.
that was the easy one.
Let me see if the second one's easier. All right. Your favorite war movie to watch?
I'll be blunt. I don't watch a lot of war movies anymore. I'd probably say John Wayne's Green Beret.
Okay. Very good.
I've seen I've seen Saving Private Ryan, Tears of the Sun. And in fact, the guys, I remember in 2003, we were about to invade Iraq. We were all watching them on their little computers. I was like, those are the worst damn movies to watch before we're about to go to a combat environment. We having no clue what's about to happen. We've been told horrendous things like chemical agents and amphetamine were these badass sons of bitches and blah, blah, blah. And they're watching these movies where everybody basically dies.
Yeah, right. It's crazy. Okay. Last question. This is my new series of last questions. So you've entered the new realm on taking it to the nub. You're going to be I think the third person to get this question.
Well, I'm at the nub, so it's good timing.
Yeah, it's good. We recently have seen that we've seen a lot of asteroids being detected flying past Earth. We recently detected one that flew between the Earth and the Moon. It was a pretty big one, but we didn't detect it until it passed the Earth. All right, as opposed to ones we detect before they passed the Earth, because it came from back behind the sun and somehow obscured it. We didn't have telescopes properly set up. We're working on that, right? So, question. If you were notified you had 24 hours, there's an asteroid that's going to smack this planet. It is so big that you're going to get annihilated. Would you do anything different in those 24 hours than what you've been doing right now?
Well, I'd probably pull out the scotch I've never poured out that's been hiding in my shelves. I'd probably pull out some of the cigars I've been hiding in my humidor. I would probably, I have an interesting family, so a couple of them I haven't seen but still love. I'd probably take my wife and we'd go up to them. That would be out of character. And I'd share my whiskey that I would never normally share with these people. Other than that, I would just hope to make it as funny, as fun, and anybody starts crying, get the hell out of Dodge. I'd rather go at it with a smile on my face and good humor.
There you go. So I want to thank you, Storm, for joining the show. I know we had some glitches getting it going. It's been a little crazy day for me too. I want to thank the sponsors and the viewers, both now and those that will be probably viewing this after. Without them, these shows mean nothing. I love it when people comment on it. So get out there. If you watched it, comment on this on YouTube. Commented on the Facebook post I put out. It's been out there. It's also on the Cigars For Warriors page. I put it out there earlier, the start of the show. So there's a link there for the YouTube. Comment on that next week on Wheel of Wonderfulness. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see who comes in, who comments. But there's going to be a package on the Wheel of Wonderfulness. The only winner on the Wheel of Wonderfulness next week is going to be Cigars For Warriors. Okay? So get out there and comment. I'm going to count comments. I'm going to make a decision. It's how many people are commenting on this. I'm going to get a package. The package is going to get bigger. Okay?
Nice.
That package is going right to Cigars For Warriors. And
we greatly appreciate you and all your fans. It's been a fun journey getting to know you guys. We've been fans of you before we got to meet you face to face. So I'm very proud to get to do this interview. I can't wait to see what you come up with. And, like our first cigar is called Live to Serve. I'm very proud of that. That has been our model for the last 10 years. It basically encompasses everything from me serving the charity, from you as a supporter serving the charity, overall serving our troops, who does serve us. At the end of the day, they're serving us, willing to put their lives in front of us. So give them a simple damn cigar and make them happy.
That's it. And I want to thank all those out there, current, present, past, and even future, that get in to serve this country. I want to thank you all for your service. Without you, this country wouldn't be what it is. You protect the rights and privileges of what we love every day. This is one of them. And if you really enjoy this, thank the servicemen for providing our freedom. And while you're at it, go write your congressmen and senators and say, stop the madness on taxation. With that, I want to thank you, Storm. It's been great. I'm going to go
Thank you
smoke
guys.
a cigar now, finally. Go outside. I'm going to go outside this undisclosed location of mine, and I'm going to go smoke a cigar and hang out with my dog. And while my wife is enjoying wherever she is.
Well, enjoy the harbor and hope Ziggy feels better.
That's it. Ziggy's good. Oh, by the way, Ziggy, come here, Ziggy. Come here. Come here. Everybody wants to see you, so we give you one last view. Come on. I know. Come on. Up, up, up. Up, up, up. There he is. So this is Ziggy Stardust. This is the wild, crazy cigar lounge cocker spaniel, right? Okay. Say bye. All right, Storm. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jimmy.
And we'll talk again.